Welcome to WiserReads, the channel where we distill the world's most influential books into clear, practical lessons you can apply in your own life. Today, we're diving into a thought-provoking book that flips conventional wisdom on its head. Range: Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World by David Epstein. We often hear that success comes from early specialization, starting young, focusing deeply, and putting in thousands of hours of practice. Think of the story of Tiger Woods, who picked up a golf club before he could walk. But Epstein asks a powerful question: is this really the only path to excellence? Through compelling research and real-world stories, Range reveals that in many fields, from science to business to art, those who explore broadly and experiment widely, the generalists, are often the ones who make the biggest breakthroughs. This book challenges the myth that narrow expertise is always best. Instead, it shows how trying different paths, gaining diverse experiences, and connecting ideas across disciplines can give us a major advantage in a complex, unpredictable world. Federer, for example, didn't specialize in tennis until much later, yet still rose to become one of the greatest athletes in history. In this video, we'll break down the key insights from Range and explore how you can apply them to your own journey, whether you're navigating a career change, developing new skills, or simply trying to make sense of life's uncertainties. So, if you've ever felt behind because you didn't specialize early, this summary will reassure you. Your wide range of experiences may actually be your greatest strength. Stick around, because these lessons could reshape the way you think about learning, growth, and success.
Tiger versus Federer, the myth of early specialization, is often seen as the ultimate proof that early specialization leads to greatness. From before the age of 2, Tiger was swinging a golf club, and his relentless focus on golf from childhood turned him into a legend. This narrative has fueled the belief that starting young, putting in thousands of focused practice hours, and narrowing in on one skill as early as possible is the surest path to success. But David Epstein challenges this myth in Range by introducing a powerful counterexample: Roger Federer. Unlike Tiger, Federer didn't lock himself into tennis at an early age. Instead, he explored many sports: soccer, skiing, wrestling, basketball, and even skateboarding. His parents encouraged play and experimentation, not early specialization. Federer only committed fully to tennis much later, yet still became one of the greatest players in history. The Tiger versus Federer contrast highlights a key idea. While some domains, like golf, reward highly specialized, repetitive practice in predictable environments, many others benefit from broad exploration. Diverse experiences build adaptable skills, creative problem-solving, and resilience, advantages that often outweigh the narrow gains of early specialization. This chapter dismantles the one-size-fits-all belief in the 10,000-hour rule of mastery. It shows that success is not only about starting early, but also about sampling widely, learning through variety, and discovering the best personal fit over time. In an unpredictable world, generalists, like Federer, often thrive where rigid specialists may struggle. The lesson? Early specialization works in some rare cases, but for most of us, taking time to explore, experiment, and play may be the smarter and more sustainable path to excellence.
The cult of the early start: Why Specialists Dominate Narrow Fields. Modern culture often glorifies the idea of the early start. We admire prodigies who begin training almost from birth and devote their lives to a single pursuit. This belief is reinforced by stories like Tiger Woods, Mozart, and chess masters, where early specialization seems to guarantee extraordinary results. The logic is simple: the earlier you start, the more hours you accumulate, and the higher your chances of mastery.
In certain narrow, rule-based domains, what David Epstein calls kind environments, this model often holds true. Sports like golf or chess, where patterns repeat consistently and feedback is immediate, reward those who begin practicing very young and focus on deliberate, repetitive training. Specialists thrive here because the path to improvement is straightforward and predictable. This cult of the early start, however, has created pressure on parents, coaches, and even organizations to push children into one discipline long before they've had the chance to explore elsewhere. While this can produce success in some cases, it also carries risks: burnout, lack of adaptability, and missed opportunities to discover a better fit elsewhere. Epstein's key insight is that while specialists may dominate in narrow, stable fields, the real world is often far less predictable. Outside of these closed systems, early specialization can limit creativity and problem-solving. Broader exploration, on the other hand, may seem slower at first, but often equips people with the flexibility to excel in complex and changing environments. The chapter exposes both the appeal and the danger of the early start obsession. It works in some arenas, but in most of life, being pushed to specialize too soon may actually reduce long-term success. The bigger picture: mastery is not always about speed, but about finding the right match and developing range.
The trouble with too much depth too soon. While early specialization can produce impressive results in narrow fields, diving too deep too soon often comes with hidden costs. In The Trouble with Too Much Depth Too Soon, David Epstein explains that focusing exclusively on one skill or discipline from an early age can limit creativity, adaptability, and long-term success. When learners concentrate only on repetitive drills and immediate performance, they miss opportunities to experiment, explore other interests, and develop broader problem-solving abilities. Many high-achieving individuals who specialize early may become highly skilled in predictable environments, but they often struggle when confronted with novel challenges or situations that require flexibility. Epstein highlights studies showing that late specializers, people who sample widely before committing, frequently outperform early specialists in complex, unpredictable domains. By contrast, early specialization can lead to burnout, frustration, and even premature plateauing as learners are confined to a narrow skill set. The chapter also emphasizes the importance of sampling periods, where experimentation across different fields fosters transferable skills and innovative thinking. Exposure to multiple disciplines allows individuals to connect ideas in new ways, approach problems from diverse perspectives, and ultimately find the areas where they can excel naturally. Ultimately, Epstein argues that depth is important, but timing matters. Mastery built on a foundation of broad experience is often more resilient and creative than mastery achieved too narrowly and too quickly. In a world that rewards flexibility, creativity, and interdisciplinary thinking, rushing into depth without first exploring range can limit potential. The lesson is clear: while skill development is crucial, balancing exploration with focused practice is the key to thriving, not just performing, in both predictable and unpredictable environments.
Kind versus wicked learning environments. In Kind versus Wicked Learning Environments, David Epstein introduces a powerful framework for understanding how we learn. Not all fields reward practice in the same way. Kind learning environments are predictable, with clear rules and immediate feedback. For example, golf or chess provides consistent patterns and quick responses, making it easier to correct mistakes and improve steadily. In these environments,
early specialization and repetitive practice can lead to rapid skill acquisition and high performance. By contrast, wicked learning environments are complex, unpredictable, and often lack clear feedback. Fields like medicine, business, or scientific research are wicked. Actions may have delayed consequences, rules change over time, and mistakes are harder to recognize. Success in these areas requires adaptability, experimentation, and the ability to learn from diverse experiences rather than relying solely on focused repetition. Epstein emphasizes that the type of learning environment dramatically affects which strategies work best. Specialists thrive in kind environments, where early, concentrated practice pays off. Generalists, however, excel in wicked environments, where breadth, creativity, and lateral thinking allow them to navigate uncertainty and solve novel problems. The chapter highlights why a one-size-fits-all approach to learning, especially the idea that starting early and drilling endlessly is always best, can be misleading. Understanding the distinction between kind and wicked environments helps learners choose how to invest their time and energy wisely. The key takeaway: mastery is not just about hours of practice, it's about context. In predictable domains, depth and early focus matter. In unpredictable, complex fields, exploration, adaptability, and connecting ideas across domains are far more valuable. Recognizing the environment you're in and adjusting your learning strategy accordingly is essential for long-term success.
The power of sampling and experimentation. In The Power of Sampling and Experimentation, David Epstein explores why exploring broadly before specializing can be more effective than focusing too early on a single path. He introduces the concept of sampling periods, phases in which individuals try out multiple fields, skills, or approaches before committing. These periods of experimentation allow learners to discover their strengths, interests, and optimal pathways for success. Sampling provides several advantages. First, it helps identify where a person fits best, what Epstein calls match quality. By trying different activities, careers, or disciplines, individuals can find the area where their unique talents and passions align. Second, diverse experiences foster creativity and problem-solving. When knowledge and skills from different domains intersect, they spark innovative ideas that would not emerge from narrow specialization. Epstein uses real-world examples to illustrate the power of experimentation. For instance, athletes who play multiple sports in their youth often develop better overall coordination, decision-making, and adaptability than those who specialize early. Similarly, in careers and science, people who explore multiple disciplines frequently make breakthroughs because they can connect ideas across fields. Importantly, experimentation is not a waste of time. While specialists may advance faster in narrow fields initially, generalists who experiment often outperform in the long term, especially in complex or unpredictable environments. The chapter emphasizes that sampling does not delay mastery. It lays the foundation for deeper, more effective learning later. The key takeaway: success is not always about starting early or focusing narrowly. Experimentation, exploration, and trying new things can provide insights, creativity, and flexibility that create lasting advantages. By embracing sampling, we build a foundation for mastery that is adaptable, innovative, and resilient, preparing us to thrive in an ever-changing world.
Match quality, finding the right fit through exploration. David Epstein explains that success and satisfaction often come not just from hard work or talent, but from discovering the right fit between our abilities, interests, and environment. He calls this concept match quality, emphasizing that individuals thrive when they pursue paths aligned with their natural strengths and passions. The chapter highlights that finding the best fit usually requires exploration. People who sample different careers, skills, or activities are more likely to discover where they can excel. Epstein contrasts this with early specialization, where individuals focus narrowly on one path without fully understanding their preferences or potential. While early focus can produce short-term gains, it may prevent long-term fulfillment and peak performance if the chosen path isn't a natural match. Epstein draws on compelling examples from sports, music, and science. Roger Federer, who experimented with multiple sports before committing to tennis, eventually found the perfect alignment of skill, interest, and opportunity. Similarly, in careers and creative fields, those who explore broadly before specializing often achieve higher success because they enter domains that truly suit them. The chapter also emphasizes the feedback loop. Trying different options provides insights about strengths and weaknesses, helping refine choices and improve decision-making. Exploration doesn't just identify opportunities, it builds adaptability, resilience, and creativity, equipping individuals to navigate uncertainty and change. The key takeaway: finding the right fit is more important than following a rigid early path. Success comes from experimenting, learning from experiences, and discovering where your skills and passions intersect. By prioritizing match quality, we can pursue paths that not only maximize achievement, but also create long-term fulfillment and sustained excellence.
Learning to think laterally, the advantage of analogical thinking. In Learning to Think Laterally, the Advantage of Analogical Thinking, David Epstein emphasizes that some of the most powerful problem-solving comes not from deep specialization, but from the ability to make connections across seemingly unrelated fields. He calls this analogical thinking, where insights from one domain are applied to solve problems in another. Epstein explains that generalists often excel in this skill because their diverse experiences provide a broader base of knowledge to draw upon. By encountering multiple disciplines, challenges, and perspectives, they can recognize patterns that specialists focused narrowly might miss. This lateral thinking fosters creativity, innovation, and the ability to approach complex problems from unconventional angles. The chapter provides real-world examples of analogical thinking. Scientists, engineers, and inventors frequently make breakthroughs by transferring ideas from one domain to another. For instance, using biology to inspire engineering solutions, or applying lessons from sports strategy to business management. These cross-pollinations often lead to discoveries and innovations that would have been unlikely within the constraints of a single field. Epstein also highlights that lateral thinking is cultivated, not innate. Exposure to varied experiences, disciplines, and challenges enhances one's ability to see connections others overlook. Experimentation, curiosity, and reflection are key ingredients in developing this capacity. The key takeaway: in a world of increasing complexity, deep knowledge alone is often insufficient. The ability to think laterally, connecting ideas across disciplines, can provide a critical advantage. Generalists who embrace diverse experiences are uniquely positioned to innovate, adapt, and solve problems in ways that specialists rarely can. By cultivating analogical thinking, we expand not just what we know, but how we think, enabling creative solutions and long-term success in unpredictable environments.
The outsider advantage: fresh eyes on old problems. In The Outsider Advantage: Fresh Eyes on Old Problems, David Epstein explores how individuals who come from outside a particular field often make breakthroughs that insiders miss. While specialists are deeply knowledgeable, their expertise can sometimes create blind spots, leading them to approach problems with assumptions, habits, and conventional thinking that limit creativity. Outsiders, on the other hand, bring fresh perspectives, question established norms, and spot opportunities that experts may overlook. Epstein illustrates this with examples from science, technology, and business, where individuals without traditional training in a field introduced innovative solutions. Their lack of entrenched knowledge allowed them to see patterns differently, combine ideas across domains, and challenge long-held assumptions.
This outsider advantage often leads to breakthroughs precisely because outsiders are not confined by the same mental models as specialists. The chapter emphasizes that being an outsider does not mean being uninformed. Rather, it involves leveraging broad experiences, curiosity, and interdisciplinary thinking to approach problems in unique ways. Epstein also notes that a balance of domain knowledge and outsider perspective is powerful. Too little understanding of the field can hinder solutions, but too much narrow expertise can blind individuals to novel possibilities. The key takeaway: expertise is valuable, but it can create tunnel vision. Fresh perspectives often come from those who have explored multiple disciplines or who approach problems from outside the traditional path. Generalists, late specializers, and those who combine diverse experiences are more likely to identify overlooked opportunities, innovate, and solve complex challenges. In a world that rewards creativity, adaptability, and problem-solving, the outsider advantage shows that the most groundbreaking ideas often come from those willing to look at familiar problems through a new lens, unbound by conventional thinking.
Interdisciplinary insights, innovation at the borders of fields. David Epstein explains how some of the most transformative ideas emerge where disciplines intersect. By combining knowledge, methods, and perspectives from multiple fields, innovators can see problems differently, generate novel solutions, and push the boundaries of what is possible. The chapter highlights that true breakthroughs often occur not within the strict confines of a single domain, but at the edges, where one field meets another. Scientists, engineers, and creators who draw on interdisciplinary insights can connect ideas in ways that specialists, focused narrowly within a single discipline, rarely do. For example, techniques from physics may inspire innovations in biology, or concepts from computer science can revolutionize healthcare. Epstein emphasizes that cultivating interdisciplinary thinking requires both breadth and curiosity. Exposure to diverse fields, openness to new methods, and a willingness to question assumptions are crucial for seeing connections others overlook. Individuals who explore broadly build a rich mental library of analogies, patterns, and problem-solving strategies that can be applied across contexts. The chapter also points out that organizations and institutions benefit when they encourage collaboration across disciplines. Teams composed of individuals with varied backgrounds are more likely to generate creative solutions, avoid conventional blind spots, and respond effectively to complex challenges. The key takeaway: innovation thrives at the intersections. By embracing interdisciplinary thinking, generalists, late specializers, and curious learners can leverage diverse experiences to solve problems in unexpected ways. Success is not solely about mastering one field. It's about integrating knowledge from many areas, connecting the dots, and applying insights where they can have the greatest impact. In a rapidly changing world, those who operate at the borders of fields are often the ones who shape the future.
The importance of broad interests and diverse experiences. In The Importance of Broad Interests and Diverse Experiences, David Epstein highlights how exploring multiple fields, hobbies, and perspectives can provide a significant advantage in learning, creativity, and long-term success. While society often emphasizes early specialization, Epstein argues that cultivating a wide range of experiences helps individuals develop skills, insights, and mental flexibility that specialists may lack. Broad interest exposes people to diverse problem-solving approaches and ways of thinking. For example, someone who studies music, science, and sports may notice patterns and analogies that others, focused narrowly, would miss. These connections fuel innovation, lateral thinking, and adaptability, qualities essential in today's complex, unpredictable world. Epstein also emphasizes the role of experimentation. Sampling different activities allows individuals to discover their strengths, passions, and optimal fit, leading to higher match quality in both careers and personal pursuits. Those who explore broadly often find unique niches where their combined skills give them a competitive edge. Real-world examples demonstrate the power of diverse experiences. Elite athletes who play multiple sports in their youth often develop superior coordination and decision-making. Similarly, inventors, entrepreneurs, and scientists who draw on interdisciplinary knowledge frequently achieve breakthroughs because they can approach challenges from fresh perspectives. The chapter challenges the notion that focusing narrowly from a young age is always the fastest route to mastery. While specialization may be necessary in certain predictable domains, in most fields, breadth provides creativity, resilience, and long-term advantage. The key takeaway, cultivating broad interests and diverse experiences, is not a distraction, it is a strategy. By exploring widely, experimenting boldly, and integrating knowledge across domains, individuals develop the versatility, insight, and adaptability needed to thrive, innovate, and succeed in an ever-changing world.
Flexibility in an unpredictable world. In Flexibility in an Unpredictable World, David Epstein explores why adaptability is often more valuable than narrow expertise, especially in complex and rapidly changing environments. While early specialization can lead to short-term success in predictable fields, the real world is rarely so consistent. Careers, industries, and problems are increasingly unpredictable, requiring individuals to pivot, experiment, and apply knowledge in new ways. Epstein emphasizes that generalists, those who explore multiple domains and cultivate diverse skills, are uniquely equipped to thrive under uncertainty. Their broad experiences allow them to see patterns, make connections, and solve problems that specialists might miss. By sampling widely and embracing exploration, generalists develop mental flexibility and creativity that become critical assets when conditions change. The chapter also highlights the dangers of rigidity. Specialists who focus too early on one narrow path may struggle to adapt when circumstances shift. They may have depth, but lack the perspective or transferable skills to respond effectively. In contrast, individuals with diverse backgrounds can leverage analogical thinking, cross-disciplinary insights, and problem-solving skills to innovate in unfamiliar situations. Epstein draws on examples from sports, business, and science to illustrate that adaptability is often the key to long-term success. Those who can integrate knowledge from multiple areas, learn from failures, and adjust strategies are better positioned to navigate complexity and seize opportunities others overlook. The key takeaway: in a world that is unpredictable and fast-changing, flexibility is a competitive advantage. Success comes not only from mastering one skill, but from cultivating breadth, embracing experimentation, and remaining open to new experiences. By developing these qualities, generalists can thrive, innovate, and make meaningful contributions even in the most uncertain environments.
Slow learning, deep understanding, why breadth beats speed. In Slow Learning, Deep Understanding, Why Breadth Beats Speed, David Epstein challenges the idea that rapid mastery through early specialization is always the optimal path. While fast progress can be beneficial in predictable domains, Epstein argues that in complex, uncertain environments, taking time to explore, experiment, and integrate knowledge leads to deeper understanding and greater long-term success. The chapter emphasizes that breadth in learning, gaining experiences across multiple fields before specializing, builds cognitive flexibility,
creativity, and problem-solving skills. Exposure to diverse domains allows individuals to recognize patterns, draw analogies, and connect ideas in innovative ways that specialists focused narrowly may miss. In essence, slow, broad learning lays a foundation for expertise that is both adaptable and resilient. Epstein also points out that rapid, narrow learning often produces proficiency without insight. Individuals who rush to specialize may achieve technical skill, but they risk developing tunnel vision, limiting their ability to respond to novel problems or apply their knowledge in new contexts. By contrast, generalists who sample widely first develop a richer mental toolkit, enabling them to innovate and excel when faced with unpredictable challenges. Real-world examples show that athletes, scientists, and professionals who embraced slower, broader learning often outperform early specialists in the long run. Roger Federer, who played multiple sports before committing to tennis, exemplifies this approach. His broad experiences contributed to creativity, adaptability, and mastery at the highest level. The key takeaway? Depth is important, but the timing of specialization matters. By prioritizing exploration, experimentation, and breadth before focusing narrowly, individuals cultivate deeper understanding, creativity, and long-term advantage. In a world that rewards adaptability and problem-solving, slow learning often beats speed, preparing learners to thrive in complex and unpredictable environments.
How generalists thrive in complexity and uncertainty. In How Generalists Thrive in Complexity and Uncertainty, David Epstein explains why generalists often outperform specialists in unpredictable, rapidly changing environments. While specialists excel in stable, predictable domains where repetitive practice and narrow focus lead to mastery, the real world is rarely so straightforward. Complex problems demand adaptability, creativity, and the ability to integrate knowledge from multiple areas, qualities that generalists naturally cultivate. Epstein emphasizes that generalists gain an advantage through diverse experiences, experimentation, and broad learning. By exploring multiple fields before specializing, they build a wide-ranging mental toolkit, develop problem-solving flexibility, and learn to connect ideas across domains. This diversity allows them to recognize patterns, innovate solutions, and navigate challenges that specialists, constrained by narrow expertise, may struggle to address. The chapter highlights that uncertainty rewards breadth, analogical thinking, and the capacity to pivot when circumstances change. Generalists are accustomed to experimentation, reflection, and learning from mistakes, which makes them resilient in the face of failure and agile in dynamic situations. Their ability to synthesize insights from different areas often leads to breakthroughs that specialists might overlook. Epstein uses examples from sports, science, and business to illustrate how generalists apply their wide-ranging skills to thrive in complex contexts. By leveraging curiosity, interdisciplinary thinking, and adaptability, they can respond to novel challenges, seize emerging opportunities, and create innovative solutions. The key takeaway: success in a complex and uncertain world is not determined solely by depth of expertise, but by the ability to adapt, think broadly, and integrate knowledge across domains. Generalists excel where rigid specialization falls short, proving that breadth, flexibility, and a willingness to experiment are essential tools for navigating the unpredictable landscape of modern life.
Thank you for joining us on WiserReads as we explored Range, Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World by David Epstein. This book challenges the popular belief that early specialization is the only path to success. Instead, it reveals that breadth, experimentation, and diverse experiences often give individuals a significant advantage in complex and unpredictable environments. Through examples from sports, science, and business,
Epstein shows how generalists, those who explore multiple fields, take risks, and connect ideas across disciplines, develop creativity, adaptability, and problem-solving skills that specialists may lack. From Roger Federer's late specialization in tennis to innovators who draw inspiration from multiple domains, the book illustrates that sampling widely, reflecting on failures, and finding the right match between strengths and passions are essential for long-term success. The key lesson is clear. Success is not just about speed or depth, it's about flexibility, curiosity, and the ability to thrive in uncertainty. By embracing exploration and broad learning, you can build a toolkit that prepares you for challenges, innovation, and growth in any field. If you found this summary valuable, make sure to subscribe to WiserReads. Each week, we break down books that can help you think smarter, grow wiser, and live a more intentional life. Don't miss the next insight that could change the way you approach learning and success.